The province forms a committee to look at classroom size and complexity.
We're here to listen, and we're here to work with you to chart a new path forward.
But will the issues facing Alberta teachers be better solved in court?
We will not settle for nice words and empty recommendations.
Plus, load after load of garbage dumped in the middle of a neighborhood.
This is unbelievable that people think this is an action that is acceptable in a city.
Bylaw steps in to stop a growing illegal and possibly contaminated eyesore. And a relaxing soak in the hot tub interrupted by a bandit.
I didn't think they'd bite you because I've seen videos before where they're so chill about it.
A Calgary teen nursing a wound and telling the tale of a robbing raccoon.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Tara Nelson.
Hello and thank you for joining us. The Premier is defending her government's use of the notwithstanding clause to end the teachers' strike, saying former Premier Peter Lougheed would have done the same thing. While the Alberta Teachers Association says the legal fight is not over, it does applaud some of the steps the province is taking to address classroom conditions. Stephanie Thomas has our top story.
One day after the Alberta Teachers Association announced a court challenge against the province, Premier Danielle Smith told reporters her government had to legislate the end of the teacher strike. She said invoking the notwithstanding clause was all for the sake of Alberta kids and for democracy.
Democracy is when the elected officials make decisions. Democracy is not when unelected judges unilaterally make decisions. So let's be clear about what democracy is.
The ATA wants a judge to pause Bill 2 and to determine if the Back to School Act, passed last week, violates charter-protected rights. One law professor emeritus at the University of Calgary says the ATA has a strong case, but perhaps on different grounds than most might think. The charter requires men and women are treated equally.
I think it's relevant here because most teachers are going to be women and they're going to be disproportionately affected by this law.
The inclusion of the notwithstanding clause in the charter negotiations of the early 1980s was proposed by then Alberta Premier Peter Lougheed as a way for governments to temporarily pause rights in special circumstances. While Smith told reporters Lougheed would approve of the use in this case, Mahoney maintains he never meant for the courts to be circumvented like this and says repeated use could be deemed as unconstitutional.
Well, what happens then to equality? What happens to our society? What happens to the fundamental pillars of Canadian identity?
Labor relations experts say the government had many other tools available before using the option it did on October 28th.
When a government imposes the final resolution of a conflict, that undermines collective bargaining. But now that the government has used it once, history tells us that they are more likely to use it again.
The province has announced a committee of UCP cabinet ministers, school board members, and an executive member of the ATA to find solutions for classroom size, conditions, and complex learning needs.
And so we hope that this is a show of good faith, that we were serious about finding a different way to address the complexity issue.
While the ATA is pleased to have a member on board, other grievances are far from dealt with.
The fight is not over. Teachers will not be silenced after Bill 2, and we will continue to keep pushing not only at this table, but a variety of other representations and interactions that we have.
Stephanie joins us now from the McDougall Centre. So what are you learning about public opinion over the province's handling of Alberta teachers, Stephanie?
Tara, a new Leger poll shows that this issue is still an important one. 74% of respondents say that they are following the teacher strike closely and that the story didn't end when the strike did, that it remains a prominent topic of conversation and a political flashpoint. However, the public appears to be split over Bill 2. 39% say they support the province, but 47% say that they oppose the province's use of the legislation. More than 1,000 Alberta adults responded to the online poll between October 31st and November 2nd. Tara.
Okay, Stephanie, thank you. Well, how would you like to drive on Alberta's divided highways at 120 kilometers an hour? The provincial government has launched an online survey to get your opinion. The survey asks which highways should be prioritized for the higher limit, and there will be a mini trial on a section after the survey is reviewed. Transportation Minister Devin Dreeshen says he wants Albertans to be able to drive the limit that highways are designed for. The survey also asks if commercial trucks should be banned from the far left lane on highways with 3 or more lanes. A 6-vehicle crash slowed traffic on southbound Trout Trail late this afternoon. The vehicles piled up at the intersection at 50th Avenue Southwest. Luckily, there are no serious injuries. One person was taken to hospital as a precaution. Residents and the councillor of a Northwest Calgary community are frustrated about illegal dumping next to their homes. Now they worry all that trash could contaminate a site meant for more homes. Alicia Fieldberg reports.
Mangled metal, piles of planks, and a tire on top. This trash heap lies right next to homes in the community of Kinkora. The junk sits on a spot designated for more housing. The city issued a stop order on the work and is investigating.
Now it's a contaminated site. There's going to have to be reclamation occur. You have used tires, hot water tanks, garbage. We don't even know if there's asbestos in what was dumped there.
Rockport Group owns the land. In a statement, the head of the Winnipeg-based company says it is investigating, and we deeply regret this incident occurred, and we will be reviewing our procedures to ensure protocols are adhered to going forward. Rockport owns GME Excavation, which had trucks on site. It hired Calgary-based Cooney's Trucking, which also says it is investigating.
I mean, this was semi-truck after semi-truck dumping garbage on a site. This is unbelievable that people think this is an action that is acceptable in a city.
One neighbor says after bylaw officers showed up to stop the illegal dumping, they saw more junk added to the pile. The area councillor said tougher penalties are needed to deter illegal dumping.
A $120 ticket for an environmental damage is a shot in the bucket, and you can see why this action happens.
The debris was dumped just a few blocks from the landfill. The trash is surrounded by piles of dirt, raising questions about whether there were plans to bury it. Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
The city says dumping on private property can come with a $250 fine. Serious cases, including those involving construction waste or environmental damage, can result in penalties of up to $10,000. Rockport says it will clean up the site. In the U.S., more than 2,000 flights were canceled or delayed at dozens of busy airports today. It comes as a government shutdown continues. A shortage of air traffic controllers who aren't being paid is grounding planes and frustrating travel plans. And it's going to get worse. The Trump administration ordered major airlines to drastically cut domestic flights at 40 of the busiest airports in America. Canadians bound for the U.S. could get caught in the chaos.
The major airlines here in Canada will start to pull back on their flights because they don't have the slots to get in. But also, it's the overflying flights going down to the Caribbean, going down to South America. They have to fly over the U.S.
The delays in the U.S. are expected to get worse as more people plan flights for Thanksgiving. So far, there are no problems at the Calgary airport. A member of Calgary's growing raccoon population put quite a scare into a Southwest teen this week. Jacob Gottme was in his backyard hot tub in Signal Hill when the animal attacked him and then robbed him. Tim Brooke has the story.
He's seen rabbits, squirrels, even a skunk. But as Jacob Gottme climbed into his hot tub Monday, the animal in his backyard was completely unexpected.
Out of nowhere, I'd hear something, and I look over.
What the 14-year-old saw was a raccoon staring directly at a bag of Starburst candy in his hand.
I was just so shocked that I didn't think they bite you, because I've seen videos before where they're so chill.
But this one latched onto his elbow. Even days later, you can still see the imprints left behind.
Pretty painful at the moment.
I didn't see the raccoon at that time, but he was terrified to get off. And I opened the door to the balcony and I just said, run into the house. Oh, it's so fat.
It kind of scared me away. And then after I was away, just climbed up there and got it.
What the hell? It took the whole freaking package of your food, Jacob.
The candy was gone, but the bizarre night wasn't over. Next stop for the family, the ER.
The way to get a risk assessment done is to contact HealthLink, so 811, and they'll kind of walk through that situation with the person. We have previously had fox rabies and skunk rabies in Alberta before, but we were able to eradicate it.
In the last 2 years, 359 samples have been tested for rabies in Alberta. Only 8 have come back positive. All of those were linked to bats. Good news for Gottme, who was prescribed a round of rabies shots just to be safe.
He's going to be fine, and I'm glad that I went and they took care of it.
It just might take a little time to return to the hot tub.
We haven't seen it since. I don't know what their patterns are generally like, but we've taken all the food supply away that we can.
Tim Brooke, CTV News, Calgary.
Exact numbers aren't tracked, but wildlife biologists have been noticing a boom in raccoon sightings in the city this year. They are often spotted in or near large green spaces.
You're watching CTV News Calgary.
Let's get our first peek at the weekend forecast. It did try to snow this morning. It didn't really stick, though.
Didn't stick, but we got anywhere from 1 to 2 centimeters in the city of Calgary today. In the south end, a little bit more than the north end for today. So it was a snowy morning, and even in some cases, in some neighborhoods, even in the early afternoon as well. Our high of 2 today, still sitting at 2. It's a chillier one as well. We will warm up. It won't be significantly warmer tomorrow, but you'll notice a difference because it will also come with sunshine, calm winds. No wind chill in the morning hours, 1 degree at 8 a.m., and then we'll get up to 6 degrees in the afternoon. By the later part of the weekend, by Sunday, we will get into the teens, believe it or not. I'll have those details coming up, Tara.
Thank you, Danielle. A sunset ceremony paying tribute to Alberta's fallen soldiers has just wrapped up. A large crowd gathered just off Memorial Drive, including Premier Daniel Smith and Mayor Jeremy Farkas. This year, more than 3,700 crosses have been lined up, each featuring the name of a man or woman from the province who died in the line of military duty. Today's ceremony is dedicated to first responders, including animals in war. Calgary's Muslim community honored veterans ahead of Remembrance Day at an event this afternoon. The gathering in the city's northeast honors the sacrifices of veterans who served our country and also highlighted the commitment of Canadians, including the Muslim community, to uphold peace, freedom, and remembrance. Organizers say it's important to pass on those values to the next generation.
The loyalty to the homeland is part of our faith. We have to teach our kids, our young generations, our boys and girls, if they think they are the loyal citizen of the great country of Canada, they should not only remember those they have fought for it or they have served the community, but they should be ready to offer the services for the protection of their countries as well.
This is the 15th year the mosque has hosted a special ceremony to honor veterans. On November 11th, CTV Calgary will bring you the Remembrance Day service from the Hangar Flight Museum on TV and online beginning at 10:30 a.m. Do you put winter tires on your vehicle? The technology is improving all the time. You might be surprised to hear just how much they can improve your stopping distance on icy roads. And the cull at a BC ostrich farm is over. Hundreds of birds put down 10 months after an avian flu outbreak. If you have a news tip for us, you can text us anytime at 10400. A months-long legal battle over the fate of hundreds of ostriches at a BC farm ended with gunshots last night. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency brought in professional marksmen to fulfill a cull order after the Supreme Court declined to hear an appeal to save them. Supporters of the farm are heartbroken and angry. Annie Bergeron-Oliver reports.
A makeshift pen once packed with ostriches, now quiet and empty of live birds after staff with the Canadian Food Inspection Agency culled the flock at BC's Universal Ostrich Farm overnight, as protesters stood by fighting the court order until the very end.
They were healthy, they were full of life, full of love, and they stripped a family of everything that they've loved for 35 years.
The saga began last December when 69 ostriches died on the farm. The CFIA found traces of avian flu in 2 carcasses and ordered the flock culled to contain the virus. The owners fought and lost in 3 different courts, including the Supreme Court of Canada Thursday morning. Hours after that controversial decision, the CFIA quarantined the farm and began shooting the flock.
There's been a lot of passion and a lot of emotion, certainly from the protesters. And of course, when the decision came down, the mood was quite somber in the morning. Once the CFIA operation began, certainly those emotions bubbled up a bit.
The department refused an interview request, but in a statement said, after consulting with experts experienced in managing ostrich disease outbreaks, the CFIA concluded that the most appropriate and humane option was to use professional marksmen in a controlled on-farm setting. All depopulation activities were completed under CFIA veterinary supervision.
They were full of life.
The CFIA says its operation respected all provincial and federal animal welfare standards, but the owners of the farm disagree.
The Canadian Food Inspection Agency just murdered hundreds of helpless, defenseless animals in a torturous way.
The RCMP remain on site at the request of the CFIA, who are in the process of removing the birds from the farm. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
The CFIA numbered the flock at between 300 and 330 birds. The Alberta Court of Appeal has ordered a new trial for a Calgary preacher who was arrested and charged following a protest at the Seton Library. Last year, Derek Reimer was acquitted of mischief and causing a disturbance at the library's event featuring local drag queens reading to children. The Crown has allowed a new trial on both counts of appeal. Reimer appealed, saying his conduct was not examined properly and did not prevent library users from enjoying the facility. Some parents at the event forcibly removed Reimer.
This is CTV News, Calgary.
Cooler air moved into central and southern Alberta this morning, and that led to a little bit of snowfall in Calgary. This is Crescent Heights, where it was steady this morning, covering roofs and parked cars. It didn't stick around through the afternoon, though. Road safety advocates hope that people will put the brakes on unsafe winter driving habits. They say one way to do that is to invest in winter tires. CTV's Nara Manisa has more on the difference that winter tires make when hitting the road.
Winter tires are being put on this car just in time for the first big snowfall of the season.
And we had a lot of those proactive people through October kind of calling for the seasonal changeovers. And as this first snowfall hit, the phones exploded.
Cliff Turner owns Shire Tire, a mobile tire changing service. He says he's seeing more drivers inquire about winter tires.
Winter tires really are the king when we get into the extreme situations where we've got that extreme cold, the ice and the snow.
Turner says winter tires should be changed out every 5 seasons or so. He says the tire industry is competitive, so manufacturers are constantly trying to outmaneuver one another.
Always just that little bit better each year, a bit more tolerant to the weather so they can stay malleable and grip the roads a little bit better.
The Alberta Motor Association is a big proponent of winter tires.
It does give you better stopping power on ice, 15 meters to be exact, which is about 3 car lengths. So that's going to be the difference between getting to work safely or getting home safely or getting into an accident.
Brandon Clausen says AMA has seen a reduction in the number of calls for vehicles sliding into curbs. He believes it's due to more people using winter tires. However, he cautions drivers to still drive to road conditions.
Winter tires don't make you invincible, so we still really want to encourage, you still have to drive to road conditions, especially on the highways where, it may say 100 kilometers an hour, but it's not safe to do 100 kilometers an hour.
In Canada, winter tires are mandatory in Quebec and on designated BC highways. When asked if the Alberta government would follow suit, Transportation Minister Devin Dreeshen says, "We trust Albertans to make the right call on their own vehicles. We encourage proper winter or all-weather tires, but we're not pursuing a province-wide mandate." Nara Manisa, CTV News, Edmonton.
And we're just at the beginning, and we're going to get more snow.
Yeah, but not this weekend. So, you have some time now to get the winter tires on your car and get prepared for this. We did get anywhere from 1 to 2 centimeters in the city of Calgary. Edmonton got 4 centimeters. This is now out of the way for areas like Edmonton, for the most part anyway. Calgary, this is tracking off to the east and now in the Medicine Hat area. You can also see with this system, it pulled in some much cooler air around it, which is what typically happens. And because we were around that freezing mark, it started off as rain. It was mainly rain in the far south. And then as it pulled in that cooler air, it switched all that rainfall into snow. And in the middle, there was also freezing rain, which we had a little bit of everything in Calgary today. We even had a little bit of freezing rain, and we certainly had fog patches as well. We had wind gusts up to 72 kilometers per hour today in Pincher Creek and just above 80 in Lethbridge and around that 70 mark in Medicine Hat. All areas in southern Alberta will calm down with regards to the winds tomorrow. So we're not looking at a windy day tomorrow. It will pick up again for Sunday, but that will be out of the west, and that will get our temperatures up because it will be more of a Chinook type pattern. 2 degrees, a little high today in Calgary. Also current temperature -2 Drumheller down through Brooks, just below freezing in Medicine Hat, and sitting at that 4-degree mark in Pincher Creek and Milk River. When we look at the future cast, we are done with the system in Calgary, Lethbridge, and almost Edmonton, so basically up the highway. But this will still circulate around that Medicine Hat area and areas to the east of QE2 up until about 3 in the morning, as you can see here. Then it will really taper off and move on out into Saskatchewan. This sets us up for sunshine tomorrow. So again, tomorrow it will be brighter, it will be a little bit warmer, and we'll have those calm winds. So it's a very nice day. In fact, the entire weekend looks calm, quiet, and brighter for sure. This is a look at Sunday, for example. Again, we'll get that push from the west on Sunday, and that will increase the temperatures into the teens. This is your Action Furnace 5-day forecast. 6 degrees for tomorrow, so you know, somewhat warmer than today. Mainly sunny skies. We'll just have some clouds increase in the city in the afternoon hours. 13 and mainly sunny on Sunday and a little windy. We'll hold on to those teens and through Monday as well. And for Remembrance Day, we're looking at a high of 9. And I will give you a fully updated forecast on Monday. But if you are heading to Remembrance Day ceremonies on Tuesday morning, we will be above that freezing mark for that. So that's quite nice as well. To looking at that 10-day trend, you can see we have our 2 warmest days, Sunday and Monday of the next 10 days. We're still holding on to some warmth for Tuesday, and then even Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, pretty reasonable when you look at the temperatures. It's next weekend. By the time we get there, we'll be back to the temperatures that we had today, and by that point, we may get some moisture in the form of wet snow as well.
Alberta paramedics are working tens of thousands of hours of overtime every month. Documents obtained by the Health Sciences Association of Alberta found overtime accounts for 8 to 12% of all hours worked by paramedics. When those hours are added up, it totals more than 30,000 hours of OT across the province every month. The HSAA says hiring of paramedics has not kept pace with population growth in Alberta. Between 2022 and 2025, Alberta's population grew by 10%, but the number of paramedics grew only by 4.5%. CUPE Alberta has launched an online campaign against the province's $100 fee on Albertans getting a COVID-19 vaccine. A new website calls on the province to axe the tax. The website calls the cost unfair, reckless, and dangerous. More evidence of the high cost of living in Canada. The research shows more people are putting off paying their bills in order to put food on the table. And Canada's Olympic hockey team unveils its new Maple Leaf jerseys. That is still to come. Prime Minister Mark Carney's first budget has survived another confidence vote. The vote was on a Bloc Québécois motion that called on MPs to reject the budget because it is harmful to Quebec. It was voted down with the help of the Conservatives. The first confidence vote was yesterday. A Conservative sub-amendment that said the budget wasn't affordable was voted down with the help of the Bloc. The third and final confidence vote on the budget itself is scheduled for November 17th. The cost of living crisis continues to take a toll. A new Nano survey for CTV found 22% of Canadians skipped at least one bill this year to buy groceries, with younger adults hit hardest and Atlantic Canada feeling more strain. CTV's Maria Saru reports.
The doors swish open at this Charlottetown store. Carts rattle out and islanders load groceries into their cars. But some say putting food on the table comes with trade-offs.
It's getting harder all the time.
I usually try to aim for as many sales as I can.
The more it's getting higher, it's affecting our daily bills.
My car insurance, the fuel, my phone bill, my rent, the groceries, and all that stuff.
New Nanos research for CTV News found 1 in 5 Canadians have skipped paying bills to buy groceries in the past year, and those under 55 were 4 times more likely to do so. Inflation and high housing costs are major factors contributing to the generational divide, says Chief Data Scientist Nick Nanos.
What's clear is that there's a significant proportion of Canadians that are facing those really tough choices. It's quite striking. I think in any other world, this would be considered an epidemic.
13% said they skipped bills sometimes or often, but a regional breakdown shows that number is highest in the Atlantic provinces at 24.2%. The data aligns with other research, says Joshua Smee with Food First NL.
All 4 provinces have upwards of 25% of people being food insecure. Our unemployment rate has generally been higher than the rest of the country. There are more people struggling economically.
He adds that means a higher number of people relying on social assistance or income supports. Shoppers here tell me what would really help is lower prices at grocery stores. But for now, many will keep making compromises. Maria Saru, CTV News, Charlottetown.
The numbers are next highest in the prairies. 16.5% of people here say they have skipped paying a bill to afford groceries. Mayor Jeremy Farkas spoke with the Prime Minister this week and says he's looking forward to a united effort to get things moving.
There's going to need to be collaborations across every level of government, not just the city going it alone or the provincial governments or the federal government, but all of us working across jurisdiction to essentially, at the end of the day, deliver for Calgarians a safe and affordable life right here in the city. So we're very cautiously optimistic about this.
The conversation happened on Wednesday. Farkas says they spoke about public safety, infrastructure, and energy access. The City of Calgary's fall survey reveals more Calgarians feel their quality of life is good. That comes from a survey of nearly 2,500 people. 71% said their quality of life is good, about 5% higher than last year's fall survey. Nearly half of respondents also said they have trust in the City of Calgary, also up from the same survey last year. The top issue identified in the survey was improving infrastructure, traffic, and roads, chosen by nearly 40% of respondents. A hardy team of researchers waded into the icy Bow River today. They're checking on the health of the fish population and the quality of the water. We'll explain just ahead. It's cold, wet work, but some Calgary volunteers say it is worth it. They spend hours each fall searching for trout nests along the Elbow River. Mark Villani has more on why this annual count is a crucial barometer for the city's water quality.
These volunteers are braving the elements, wading through the frigid waters of the Elbow River, all in search of something vital to Calgary's ecosystem.
This leaves evidence in the river that we can see exactly where they've spawned.
He's talking about brown trout, and specifically these gravelly depressions in the water known as redds. These are trout nests, telling a big story about the health of the river.
And it tells us a lot about the habitat. So if we have a lot of redds, we know we have good quality habitat that they prefer to spawn in, which is fast-flowing water over clean gravel substrates. So we have a lot of that here in the Elbow River.
The trout count has been tracked for more than 2 decades, providing data on how the Elbow River is recovering from events like the 2013 flood. Experts say more nests indicate higher water quality. It's also a sign of how clean or polluted our waterways really are.
If we see nests at some point and then they suddenly cut off and everything downstream, there's no more nests, that suggests that there actually may be a shift in water quality.
Something that we look at as an organization, as well as how cold the temperature is, because there's lots of human impacts that can increase water temperature.
The work happens every November when brown trout swim upstream to spawn in the gravel beds below the Glenmore Dam. It's a delicate process that relies on clear, cold water, something groups like Calgary River Valleys are fighting to protect. It's the first week of November. The water temperature here is about 4 degrees Celsius. This group behind me is dedicated. It begs the question, why on earth do they do it?
It is possible to enjoy, I do promise. You just got to have the right tools to stay warm. Right now I have about 10,000 layers on.
You know, I'd prefer a day like this and being outside to a day in the office any day. I love being outdoors.
I just love doing this. I can't believe I get to do this. It's an honor and a privilege.
A privilege that these volunteers hope to carry on, collecting key data to keep Calgary's rivers healthy for years to come. Mark Villani, CTV News, Calgary.
So the volunteers with Calgary River Valleys found 422 trout nests in today's count. We have more information on our website if you'd like to get involved.
Awesome.
You need layers. It's really cool. It's interesting to see what they're learning from that, though. Okay. Well, we're going to start things off with an old-fashioned hair trend that we kind of hope actually never comes back.
Pink curlers. Everybody I knew slept in the fancy hair. So we're going to make our own fancy hair.
Okay, I don't know. Were you ever part of the Pink Curler Club? You probably have to be at least 50 to have had these in your hair. They were all the rage back in the day, giving girls curly hair for days.
Big
I guess
hair.
If you couldn't afford a perm, that was the next best thing. Yeah, ridiculous hair. They were not comfortable to sleep in. I can say that. They were
Don't you have
not
to have
at
a
all.
house coat on, too?
Yes, absolutely. This is, I'd say the 60s and 70s were when the pink curlers were in.
I do like how much fun they had with it.
Yes. Well, here's a collaboration we didn't know we needed, but we're glad we got it. He's got a great voice. This is hip hop and opera together, also known as hip opera. His name is Babatunde. He's called the hip hop opera guy for a reason. He likes to fuse both forms of music in a pretty great way to reach audiences across musical genres.
He has got a voice.
Doesn't he?
Yes.
He sounds fantastic. He makes it fun.
Some people are so talented.
Yes. I think that would draw people to opera for sure.
Yeah.
Well, the Radio City Rockettes are kicking off their 100-year anniversary with a Christmas spectacular. Here they are rehearsing. The annual Rockette Holiday Show opens this week in Manhattan. The performance includes, of course, the Rockette signature high kicks and the fan favorite, the Parade of the Wooden Soldiers. The troupe has been around since 1925.
Wow.
If you could have a little weekend in New York just before Christmas, you would definitely have to take in the Rockettes.
Yeah, absolutely.
What fun. Well, still to come, Canada added more jobs last month, beating expectations. It's the second positive month in a row. We'll have the breakdown in our business report.
Oh, your Skywatch weather camera here, not showing any snowfall. So yes, we had some snow earlier today, picked up a couple centimeters in the city, and that is now done. And the ground was so warm, so it didn't collect on the ground. It melted on contact, but still some snowflakes stuck in the grassy areas in some parts of the city. We got 2 degrees today. We're still sitting at 2, normal is 4. We will be well above normal for our weekend once we're done with this system. So a couple key things with this system, and we talked about this yesterday, because we're hovering around that freezing mark when we look at the temperature profile of the atmosphere around the surface. Because we're sitting around the freezing mark, we got a little bit of everything. So it pulled in cooler air behind it. We started off with rainfall. In some cases, we got a rain-snow mix, even freezing rain, and then snowfall as well. We got a little bit of everything in Calgary today, and even fog patches. This is now shifted off in the Medicine Hat area, and this will be out of the Medicine Hat area by 3 in the morning. And we're done with it here in Calgary. And then we're looking at sunshine for the weekend and calmer winds tomorrow as well. 2 degrees in Calgary. That was our high. 0 for Regina. Just a quick look at wind chill. Medicine Hat feels more like -8 with the wind chill right now. Claresholm feels more like -3. Because we're not below freezing in Calgary, it's 2. Okay, tomorrow, +1 at 8 a.m., getting up to 6 in the afternoon. Winds calm, sunshine out. That's your 24-hour forecast, brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed rider, it's free. Kamloops and Kelowna and Salmon Arm looking at a high of 9 for tomorrow. It's quiet weather in Alberta tomorrow for the most part. In Edmonton, down through Red Deer, highs around 4 and 5. Calgary 6. Drumheller 3 tomorrow, Lethbridge 9, Medicine Hat 7, and 40-kilometer-per-hour gusts in Crow's Nest Pass. Tara?
Thank you, Danielle. Premier Danielle Smith is defending her government's use of the notwithstanding clause to end the teachers' strike. Smith says former Premier Peter Lougheed would have done the same thing. The Teachers Association wants a judge to determine if back-to-work legislation violates charter rights. The provincial government wants your opinion on whether speed limits should rise to 120 kilometers an hour on divided highways. An online survey is now underway. And Kincora residents in northwest Calgary are upset over a heap of illegally dumped garbage. The junk sits on a spot designated for more housing. The city has issued a stop work order. A miniature city within the city of Edmonton appears to be growing just as rapidly as the capital itself. Matt Woodman visited Brickmanton, a sprawling metropolis built entirely out of Lego.
This is my Lego room.
The first time we met Lego YouTuber Jordan Forsythe, better known as Brixie, it was 2021. Since then, his Lego city and collection have outgrown his basement.
This is like, man, what are we going to do? We can't continue growing at this pace. We need to either get a bigger space or downsize our collection. And we decided to get a bigger space.
Welcome to the new Brickmanton.
I definitely won't be growing out of this place.
Brickmanton spans 75 square meters, includes millions of pieces and countless minifigs.
I don't know what the population is. Lost count a long time ago.
He and his wife started building Lego 10 years ago with a Star Wars set. Since then, their collection has grown to roughly 1,500 sets.
It snowballed pretty quickly, and as soon as we bought our first modular building, I knew that one day I would be building a Lego city.
He never imagined Brickmanton would take over an entire studio. There's a downtown core, a beach, harbor, and train yard, a campground, zoo, and an amusement park.
Going a little fast.
And as many details inside as there are out.
So all the buildings have an interior, and you can pop the floors apart, take the roofs off.
He's managed to turn his passion into a paycheck. His YouTube channel took off in 2020, allowing him and his wife to quit their jobs and focus on Lego full-time. It's a closed studio, but you can see everything online.
I'm currently working on some massive mountains which will go in the center of the city.
He finds building therapeutic, although it can become repetitive, layering brick after brick. But there's always something different to work on, which keeps it fresh.
It is so much fun just building Lego every day and making videos about it.
So Brixie keeps building, and Brickmanton keeps growing. Matt Woodman, CTV News, Edmonton.
Art that incorporates 30 different Alberta-grown items is on display at Farm Fair International. The piece includes everything from lentils and peas to wheat and canola, all donated by local organizations and farmers. The artist behind the work says this is the first mural of its kind outside of Australia and the most unique project she has ever worked on.
Think about color. How do we make this vibrant, considering I don't get to use man-made materials? Red lentils is great, and so it pushed the boundaries of how I work as an artist.
For 51 years, Farm Fair International has been the premier agriculture and livestock show in Canada. If you happen to be in Edmonton tomorrow, it is on at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Canada's economy added 67,000 jobs last month, which surpassed economists' thoughts. Here's BNN Bloomberg's Marla Fernandez.
Economists had expected a job loss for October. The gain was big enough to push down Canada's unemployment rate. It now sits at 6.9%. The gain of 67,000 jobs follows September's gain of 60,000 positions. Part-time jobs drove growth in October. Ontario gained 55,000 jobs last month. Quebec, 11,000. Employment was down in Nova Scotia and Manitoba. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up to 71.27. West Texas Intermediate crude is up to 59.75. Western Canadian Select is down a bit to 47.80. And the TSX started the day deep in the red, then squeaked to a gain of 43 points by the end of the day. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marla Fernandez.
Calgary's Tate McRae was nominated for a Grammy. Her song, Just Keep Watching, was in the soundtrack of this summer's F1 the movie starring Brad Pitt. McRae was nominated for Best Dance Pop Recording. The 2026 Grammys take place in February. It's only 2 games, but the Flames are on a heater. They take on the Chicago Blackhawks tonight to try to keep the winning streak alive. Glenn joins us next.
We will remember. Watch live coverage of Calgary's Remembrance Day ceremony with Tara Nelson, November 11th at 10:30 a.m. on CTV, streaming through the CTV News app and at ctvnewscalgary.ca.
It's another day, I guess.
A Canadian is the tallest person to ever play college basketball. Olivier Rioux is a 7'9" center. He broke the record last night when he debuted in a 104-64 victory for his Florida team.
It felt great. The support from everybody was amazing, even on the bench and even in the fans. I think everybody supported, and I'm very grateful.
The 19-year-old from Terrebonne, Quebec is used to getting a lot of attention, including a profile by W5 2 years ago. He is also the world's tallest teenager. This is the first look at Hockey Canada's jerseys for the Winter Olympic and Paralympic Games. Our players will wear 2 jersey styles, a white one with a red maple leaf and a red one with a black maple leaf. Hockey Canada says the multi-tone leaf design mimics a diamond, symbolizing how athletes can withstand incredible pressure. The Winter Games in Milano and Cortina, Italy begin February 4th. One of the exciting young teams in the NHL pays a visit to the Dome tonight. Glenn is back with us, and Glenn, the Chicago Blackhawks look like they're really turning things around.
Tara, the Hawks have struggled for years, but now some of that young talent starting to take the next step. As for the Flames, they're looking to make it 3 in a row.
2-on-1 Flames. Klopka shoots, scores!
The Calgary Flames are on their longest winning streak of the season. Yes, it's only 2 games, but as they say, you've got to start somewhere.
We kind of just said once November starts, let's just flip the page and almost reset everything, and I thought we'd done a good job with that. We played the last 2 games were good, and yeah, just as you said, the snowball effect, just keep building and keep playing for each other.
The Flames will look to make it 3 in a row tonight against the much improved Chicago Blackhawks. The Flames know if they want to get back in the race, they'll have to start stringing some wins together.
Keep building on our game. I think coming out with a good start. I think like we talked about after the last game, and yeah, just keeping that energy. I think when you get a couple wins, you start to feel good. Guys have a little confidence, and you just do what you can to keep that going.
The Hawks are off to a 6-5-3 start to the season.
Gets the puck to Senator Bedard. He's got an empty net, and he's going to have his first goal in Vancouver.
And forward Connor Bedard is really starting to light it up. In 14 games this season, he has 7 goals and 11 assists. Bedard is expecting a tight battle tonight.
Yeah, I haven't watched him much, to be honest. Yeah, you see him in video and stuff, and obviously they're a hard-nosed team, pressure a lot, so we got to be kind of ready for that and ready for a tight check game.
The Flames are in last place overall in the NHL with just 10 points, but Hawks head coach Jeff Blashill says there's no way his team can take them lightly.
I think everybody is so close now in the league. Every night is so hard, and teams can kind of go on runs both ways, both good and bad. And I know they're starting a good run here, and we'd like to kind of build off our last game in Vancouver, so it should be a good game.
Flames defenseman Kevin Ball didn't take the morning skate. He's not going to play tonight by the sounds of it. Puck drop for tonight's game just a little after 7 at the Scotiabank Saddledome.
It is starting to feel a bit like hockey weather out there. It was definitely cooler today.
Yeah, it was wintry-ish today. We got a little bit of everything, and it's not the same for the weekend. So a lot of people that I, ran into at the mall today, for example, we're very happy to hear that we're not looking at snowfall for the weekend.
Yay.
Put it off a little while longer. It's okay.
Yeah, we need some prep time, right? Some mental prep time before it really sticks. 6 degrees as our high for tomorrow. Lots of sunshine. Just a little clouding over in the afternoon, and 13 for Sunday. So it's a really nice weekend. It'll be a little windier on Sunday. That's what will get us to 13. Weather window brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors, crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, Alberta's climate. And a teacher sent this to me saying, sometimes you just need to take a break from learning and look at the first snow.
Yeah, that is very tantalizing when you're a kid looking out at the snow blowing. It was very pretty this morning. And then you just want to get out there for recess.
No one wants to drive in it.
That's right. Yeah. Thanks for your company tonight. Have a terrific weekend.